Okay, well, we are down here in Washington ahead of the president's meeting with the heads of Wall Street. I'm joined now by a man who's given President Obama advice in the past. He's Jim Reynolds, co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Loop Capital Markets in Chicago. Jim, good to see you again, even if it's just remotely here. But Jim, you know, I was looking through some of the notes. I was looking through some of the notes in the past, and you know, you had advised President Obama before, but over the course of these several months, you've actually become, and correct me if I'm wrong, a bit frustrated with their positions against the banks, particularly on TARP.
Well, I don't want to say I'm frustrated with the administration's opinion of banks. I'm just a little bit concerned about what I'm hearing coming out of Washington from time to time, particularly in light of kind of where banking is now vis-a-vis where it was.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I mean, you know, you made the point before, I believe, where, you know, the government gives us money. They tell them that they can do whatever they want, that they're business as usual. But at the same time, they come back a year later and say, well, actually, you need to do exactly what we want to do. Otherwise, you look like you're tone deaf against the public, and you look like you don't know, you're not in, you know, you're not in touch with what the public wants.
Yeah, well, you know, Betty, you and I have talked about it before, and as I've seen sort of the trends lately, they have been concerning me. Remember, I'm an investment banker, so when I hear the terms and I hear them speak of how the business is done now, it concerns me. If we go back and look at sort of how we got here and how we got out of here, it's a combination, we've talked about it before, of a failure of a lot of organizations, whether you go to the SEC, regulating the investment banks, whether you talk about the Fed, whether you talk about the rating agencies, whether you talk about the investors, and then you throw in some parts, and a very, very small part of the personnel at investment banks. I mean, I think we forget, Betty Lou, that the CDO structuring folks at these investment banks were probably 100 people, 200 people in banks of tens of thousands. And they pretty much have become the benchmark, the standard for the whole profession, and that's just not right.
Right. And, okay, Jim, in the time that we have, though, I just want to get your view on Goldman, because you have said before that Goldman, the moves they've made on compensation, sets a bad example for the banking industry, no?
No, what I've said about Goldman, and trust me, I'm not ever going to, I've spent my entire career trying to beat Goldman. In every place I've worked, we were trying to beat Goldman, so I don't want to be in a position of defending Goldman, but I will say this. Goldman now, the business that they're doing now is great business. It's good. The investment bankers right now are earning their revenue in vanilla types of ways. They're trading bonds, commodities, stocks, doing deals that make sense.